Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Game over.
Thank you so much for joining us at Sports Night Amplified with Andile. Proverb holding it down for Tibo Touch alongside Loot Love over the last 3 hours. It's what's the Russian relay of talent here, huh? We can do that. We can be like, no, Pro, let's deploy you here. Absolutely loved it. Not sure what's happening tomorrow, but you can listen in between 3 and 6 to cover it. TS Galaxy, Mamelodi Sundowns last night. It's my favorite rivalry. And I know Coach Rulani Mokwena came out and said he hates that game. He doesn't enjoy it. But the passion that we saw when those goals were scored says otherwise. Says those victories meant so much. Sundowns so close to not being invincible last night, but they fought back, and this is why they're the team they are. And you say, hey, Andile, Sundowns last night showed you why. Let's speak to the president at the TS Galaxy, Tim Sukazi, as well as one of his players, Bradley Mojela, as well. He comes on, and let's have a chat about last night, but also so much more.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
13 after the hour, 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. Tim Sukazi, not Timmy here, is going to be joining us in just a bit. I can't wait to have that conversation because, it's all good and well. And I said this last night, even watching the game. Coach Rulani Mokwena, who by far is the best coach in South Africa right now. You can argue that however you will, but also take nothing away from the coach at TS Galaxy, Ramovic. Done an absolutely amazing job. A coach that came to South Africa to many of us asking questions of Tim Sukazi and his sanity, because this is a man that had never coached at this level before. This was his first gig, essentially, that Tim Sukazi gave him. And when you look at what he's done with a team that is forever changing, because of the team that, TS Galaxy is, he's done well. To see these two brains, when you look at the education they have in football as well, you look at these two brains going at each other the way that they do, and never mind what happens off the field. That's entertaining as well. That's entertaining as well for us who are watching. But what they dish out on the field in 90 minutes, that is what I'm about. That is just fantastic. That rivalry is great. And you can tell, and my point is this, is you can tell in the victory or the goals. I've seen Coach Rulani Mokwena celebrate when goals are scored. I've never seen him celebrate an equalizing goal the way he did last night. Mind you, this is only the second time that Sundowns were led in a match. This is only the second time. They were led once against Stellenbosch, and they were led again last night. That equalizing goal to keep the invincibility going and to equalize and not lose to TS Galaxy meant a lot to them. It meant even more to Ramovic when he thought they could clinch it. So yeah, that's where we are. But let's speak to a man who knows all too well what it's like to be in that field, in that 90 minutes. Bradley Mojela, and joins me on the line. TS Galaxy winger, 26 appearances in the DStv Premiership this season, scoring 4 goals and assisting in 1. Mojela. Oh, we're speaking to Tim first. Who's on the line first? Oh, is it Tim? Tim Sukazi is on the line first. Terribly sorry. To his winger, Mojela, in a few. Tim?
Andile.
I'm speaking to the paymaster here. I must be careful. I mustn't mince my words here. How are you, Tim?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. Even better coming from a game last night that, in my view, was one of the best, if not the best, advert for South African football in recent times.
Why does a draw against Sundowns, one might say you didn't beat them, there's a draw, they're over 20 points, I think it's over 25 points more than what you've got. Why measure up with that? Why is that so important, Tim?
Look, let me put it differently. I never thought there'll be a day in time where Sundowns will celebrate in that manner a goal that gives them an equalizer against a young club such as TS Galaxy. But then given the history between the two clubs recently, and obviously everything else that has been going on, none of these teams were going to leave that stadium having lost the game, in my view. Many may talk about the goal that he scored in the first half that was called an offside, the on rebound. I didn't see it clearly, but at the end of the day, we played a draw and football was a winner. The game was played at the high intensity. There was rivalry in the field of play, and it was a tactical game. Very, very tactical. Two tacticians, in my view. People may talk as much as they like with Sundowns and buying of players and what. There's coaching that goes on there. I've said it before. And if you recall, I was at your platform 1.5 years ago. I did say that I would like for South African football, a young coach such as Rulani Mokwena, to obtain the highest possible football license, as you know, i.e. your AFA Pro. In other words, so that he could coach in Europe, because I regard him as one of the best talents that we have had for many years, or at least since my involvement in football. Equally so, our coach, I think, is one of the best tacticians we have. So can you imagine? And you could see that in the field of play, that this is a tactical game. And the two teams are playing, using different structures, and they vary the structures during the course of play, ultimately, we needed a goal and we scored. That electrifying environment, the pandemonium, Andile, when we scored. And when they scored too, it was different. We loved it. I think after the 3-2 derby between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, this game is there or thereabout, it was great effort for South African football.
I mean, I'm hearing you now. You're giving compliments to Sundowns. You're giving compliments to Rulani Mokwena, the same Rulani Mokwena whom, you've served with letters, and, you're demanding all sorts of things. It's going to courts even. And then I wonder, is the rivalry real? Do you hate Sundowns? Do you hate Rulani? Is this game, the passion that fuels it, is it real? Or is it just, this is good for the game, let's go for it? What is your honest feeling as far as this rivalry and your coach? Obviously, you're a man that backs your coach. His feelings on the opposition.
Look, Andile, many may not know, and probably Rulani, who is sitting, does not know this. My first encounter with him, the man, it was, I can't remember, around 2012 or somewhere there. He was the head coach of the Sundowns under 19 at the Bay Hill in Cape Town. I can't remember the year exactly, but and then I saw him there. I saw his team playing. When I got to my hotel, the next day I came across the Bay Hill and his comments. And I connected what he was saying to the game. I thought to myself, this is a very talented young coach. And I didn't hold on to my views. I expressed my views at Sundowns hierarchy, because you would know that I was working as a lawyer to Sundowns for many years, and of course I also acted as an agent, for many years. So I did convey that there is a young coach I saw in Cape Town. Just take note of him. I think he's quite talented. He was coaching the under-19. Whether that influenced, him being roped in the first team ultimately before he left for Orlando Pirates, I don't know, and it's irrelevant. The truth is, he still remains a very talented coach. And like I said, since my involvement in football probably is the best that as a country we have produced. That's the truth. That's my view, and that's where it starts, that's where it ends. However, of course, I
just want to, because whether you know or not, Tim, but what you're saying is what you said after seeing him at the time being involved at Sundowns could have laid the grounds for the Rulani that we see today. It's possible that your influence, because you were highly influential at Sundowns as a lawyer and an agent at the time. What you said to the hierarchy or whomever it is you spoke to, is possible that it laid the foundation from where he is. That's an interesting point. That's a very interesting point that I didn't even know. So a nice tidbit that.
Look, it's possible, but I wouldn't want to claim credit.
No, for sure.
Yes, I can't claim credit, but I did express my view that I saw a coach in Cape Town, a young one. I saw him and I saw his work. And I stood next to him. We were chatting, with other guys around us. I could hear him expressing his views. I thought this coach is talented, and I didn't know him that much at the time. But then when I watched on TV, I saw the name Mokwena. Then, when the opportunity presented itself, I did say, to the powers that be, that I saw a coach in Cape Town, a young one. I think he's very good. I think he's got a future. Take care. I mean, look at him. Don't neglect his work or ignore. I think he's got a bright future. I cannot say today now that that's the reason why he is.
No, for sure.
It may not be, maybe, or it played a part, but look, man, he is where he is.
What's your feeling now, though, Tim?
I still believe, I watch Sundowns a lot, religiously, not just as a football fan. I watch them tactically. I see exactly their game plan. I see how they bring their wingers inside, draw the opposition fullbacks out of play so that they are in no man's land. I see how they add the numbers in the midfield. I watch them, and I see how they vary their game when they're faced with a challenge, or maybe one or two questions are posed against them. So those things happen in the heat of the moment. It can only be coaching. Maybe not him alone, maybe with other coaches, but there is some good coaching. And I had said it before that the Sundowns of today, is doing better than the Sundowns of the past, in my view. Yes, when the Sundowns of the past also did wonderful things, but this one.
So when you put Pitso's Sundowns and Rulani's Sundowns, is what you're saying? You think this Sundowns?
Yeah, these Sundowns. I'm honest with that. Coach Pitso is my brother, and he's done fantastic work. But this one, and has been in recent times the flagship of South African football. So this is me. I'm seeing crazy. You can say so, but that's the truth. However, having said that, though, me personally and at Club Chase Galaxy, we have principle. We have principle and we act accordingly. Because why? We have got a young project that we have to guide into the future. We have a new proposition for South African football as Project TS Galaxy. I had said that before. So therefore, with that, I would not allow, a situation whereby any individual, doesn't matter who, would tarnish and somehow cause for the reputation of this project to be damaged, more especially a club that thrives on the spirit of humanity. We don't have anything else at this club. We thrive on the spirit of humanity, the culture we inculcate. And be who you are and give it your ultimate best. So I think where, in my view, he may have erred, he may dispute this or whatever, it doesn't matter, was when he made those utterances. They were hurtful for a project in a club like ours. We are not a club that has violence. We are not a club that is violent, and we shall never be. Any person with violence in any manner or form will never work here. We love our people. We love them, from all walks of life. And these are the ethos of this club. It shall never change. So when he made those utterances to suggest that there was some concoction between our technical team or head coach and the players, India Bonganism, whom I come a long way with just generally as a football person, and whom I've also admired as a player for many years, he knows that too. That was very much hurtful. And as a matter of principle, we had to take a stance and a position. How so? We wrote a letter and we asked him to retract those comments, and we gave him a period of time, and we also did indicate that should he fail to do so, we will be left with no choice but to institute legal process.
So Tim, when you say this, when you say, you hold in, were you in that particular meeting between the coach and the players? Or are you also getting it as a second-hand information? You asked your coach, you asked your players, and they said no such thing ever happened. Or were you party to it, so therefore you know for sure that it didn't occur?
I have no doubt. I have no doubt in mind that there's no such. People may underestimate the extent of my involvement at Club Chase Galaxy. Probably that's a big error that they are doing. So nothing. There's no such. I sit at certain meetings, not in the match before we played Sundowns. Certainly, I was busy with other things, of course. But I sit in many of these meetings. In any case, we know, and our coach, we are the club. Let me illustrate my point about us being the club probably that thrives on the spirit of humanity, just so that you understand. Backed by our coach, you would know that we are, for example, on a different matter, the only club that came out to say we support Palestine. For example, we were concerned about the loss of life without choosing any country politically, whatever the case may be, and we wanted that to stop. Only us. Then some 2 months later, South Africa, the country, we went to the International Court of Justice. Where were we wrong? So it just shows that we also watchful what happens in human life. We are very mindful of that. We can never, as a club, preach for one of our own to go injure another human being so that they can end up their career positively. Never, no chance.
But then, Tim, the question is, and as much as I love this rivalry, I love the heat of it. I love the passion of what it's done to players, to buoy them to do what they've done. You, being the person that you are, as a lawyer, an intermediary even, why not call, the two parties, sit them down, sort this out, because it hasn't, but it can get a bit dangerous. Why not sort it out? Why not sit down and be amicable about it?
Look, these are utterances that went public, Andile. So the only way for that to be sorted out is for them to be retracted. Take them out. Issue a statement. We said by video, in a videographical and written form, retract these things so that you don't tarnish in any way our name and reputation as a project and club Chase Galaxy. So there's no other way. You can sit in a round table, it doesn't help. This thing goes viral as it went. It continues. He still plans to say, it affects a lot of things. People may not realize. We're talking to potential sponsors. Now we are portrayed as this violent club, for example. We don't have. Yes, we're in a league where we compete with, some of our top clubs are well funded. No problem with that. We'll get there one day. People look at this, and now the messaging from a very influential persona in the form of the head coach of Sundowns, suggesting that we have violence within our fold. These things, they affect a whole number of things, and that's why we wanted them to be retracted urgently. So there's no meeting in a round table that could repair that kind of harm, other than when the same person comes out publicly to say, I retract. Then we have what was a reasonable period of time, in my view, and
let me play the devil's advocate here a little bit. It's hard to apologize to people when, the coach calls you Mr. Sunshine every opportunity he gets, when the coach, makes sure that he takes jabs at you. I think last night he said, he needs to get his football education because obviously Kaizer Ramovic has got the pro license that Rulani doesn't, things like that. And would you maybe say to your coach, let's tone it down a little bit. Let's not continue to poke at them. Would that be a fair thing to ask of, a person such as yourself as the leader in that team?
Look, for insofar as that it relates to some banter, I think here and there we do need something that fires us up, as African football. About such matters such as football education. I'm on record in your platform that I wish Rulani Mokwena could go and coach in Europe. Unfortunately, in Europe, they want a UEFA Pro license. So if you could get that, and I said to you, Andile, if we can't, or they can't take him there, I'm prepared, myself, to take him there.
You're prepared to take Rulani?
Yes, I did say I'm on record. Go to my last interview when I was in studio with you. I did say that to you. So that was then. That was before this whole hula baloo and all kind of things. That shows the belief I have in him, the man, and as a coach. If a pro license would give him an opportunity one day in the future, we would be proud in South Africa to coach in Europe. We would love to see that happening. So I'll support that. But then, of course, I'm also mindful, probably, of any mannerism in between, and I'll check this issue of sunshine or whatever. I heard about it last night, what played out in my mind is compare a plumber and a sunshine. My coach is being called a plumber, whatever the case may be. But then, obviously, I don't know what that meant when he used the name sunshine. I'm still going to see him. He needs to explain to me. And to the extent that I'm not satisfied with his explanation, I'll also guide him accordingly and turn him down. But then, it's not necessarily as derogatory as a plumber would be, just for example. But then I would still want to know what he has in the back of his head when he mentioned him as a sunshine or whatever what he said. I didn't hear exactly what he said.
congratulations. Just to flip the page a little bit here. Congratulations. We started this on a downer. It should have been on the up. Top 8.
It's historical, Andile.
For the first time, yeah?
For the first time, brother. When we started the season, it was at the back of us having transferred 7 and more players, more particularly the spine of our team. Given Msimanga was our captain, we had considered the least number of goals behind Sundowns. Mngqithi had kept us more than 10 clean sheets. Batusi Overs, national team player, and. But then thereafter, obviously, the prophet of doom had said all kind of things about us, but then we had our plans. Many didn't know. And thankfully, we signed correctly. But then for our technical team to regenerate a team, for it to perform even better than that team, which was good enough for the league, I think they've done fantastically well. You remember that coming out of those many transfers, when I was asked in other corners what are the plans for our club, I did say that we have proven to be an improving club. The other season had finished 13th. Last season we finished 10th. I said this season top 8 is a must. We won't finish less than the top 8. So we have achieved our goals. But then with that said, the number 4 position is within a touching distance. And we are a club that the general doesn't settle for less. So we'll fight hard in Polokwane. Hopefully we'll get a positive result. And we'll be in the top 4. And if that takes us to CAF, God bless, we will go out there to represent.
Are you not, sorry, Tim, to come in there, because you mentioned CAF. Are you not worried about the financial implications of the daunting financial implications, when we take a look at the history that you've had as well of going to CAF?
Andile, we went to CAF with Chiefs Galaxy while we were in the NFT.
I remember that, but that was before you then had a couple of issues as well. So now when you think about it, those challenges, are you not worried about the financial implications of that?
Well, we are the only club, first club to take a training camp in Europe for 3 weeks, and we went there now in January. We do things with conviction and we don't fail. When we set our eyes on a prize, on a mission, we always make sure that we accomplish that. This will be for the country. We have to go out there. If we do qualify, God bless, and we have to go out there and make the country proud as GS Galaxy. Everything else aside, we will do it, and you and I will talk.
One of the ways that you do make money, Tim, is that, and I wonder about your ambitions, because you're a very ambitious person, and I wonder if you ever set sights on one day lifting the league, because the other part of you is you are a selling club. You look at the players that you sold. You mentioned Buthelezi, who at some point was one of the best goalkeepers in our league. I wonder about the choices that sent him away. But you are a selling club. What does that mean for your ambitions versus the players that you're going to lose? I wonder this season as well. You look at a Mojela, you look at all these players that have done well. Is TS Galaxy going to be able to hold on to them?
Look, what we managed to do successfully last season, but I won't advise any owner of the club to do it, to transfer. You can ask any South African club to transfer their 7 best players and see how they fare the next season. I think it's not normal what we have achieved. But then the secret to our success is that with the re-signings or reinforcements, we thrived to ensure that they would improve the team. And now with hindsight being the best science, you would agree with me that this team has even improved even more than we had expected, So should it happen again this year, our business model is exactly that. I had made an example of Tottenham Hotspur, who would sell a Gareth Bale at the time then for 100 million euros, and they improved the team. They reinvested those proceeds back in the project, and they became a force, and they saw themselves in the Europa and all that. Our model is exactly the same. If we happen to do 1 or 2 of those transfers, I don't think it will be an exodus as we saw last season of many players, but maybe 1 or 2. And in that case, even we'll reinvest in the project.
Are there players that are touted or wanted outside that you can tell us about? Are they interested in some of your players?
Yeah, well, look, there's been 1 or 2 formal approaches, but then the interested parties have asked for confidentiality, and I would respect that, as you can imagine.
Is Mojela one of them?
Yes.
Okay. Local?
Yes, but then when we went to Europe, the player who performed probably best, you won't believe, at central defense was our young left central defender Kabini, who plays now or who's covering as a left back. There's inquiries about him as well in the Turkish Premier League and in the French League 2.
I mean, he's only 20 years old, is Kabini. So, I mean, there would be interest like that. But the one concern I then have, because you've spoken so well of your players, but you speak even better of your coach. Is there an opportunity or chance, with all the talk that's going on, that you don't hold on to your coach at the end of the season?
Again, when Kaizer Ramovic arrived here, like you said earlier in your precursor to this conversation, you said this was his first gig. Yes. When he got here, I was asked, in fact, I was told that I've got a plumber, we are 2 points after 8 games, we'll be relegated. Why would I bring a plumber, a man with no experience? I said to the journalist on the day, please listen to me and listen to me very carefully. The arrival of Kaizer Ramovic will prove to be a blessing to South African football. You'll thank me later. I said it, I'm on record. Members of the media were there. They can pull that file. Now, we have a crisis in South Africa. Well, I think if your question, you're alluding to the rumor of Kaizer Chiefs or something like that, which is a rumor. We haven't spoken to them. I heard, I also read the rumors. So should it happen? I don't know if it will happen. I don't know what's their criteria, what they're looking for. And I cannot, advise Kaizer Chiefs, obviously. But then should such an approach in relation there to, come to my desk. My wish and what I want for the country, football South Africa, is for a strong Kaizer Chiefs, a very strong Kaizer Chiefs. The Sundowns has become strong. So is Pirates. Yes, we beat them last weekend, but this team of Pirates probably is the best team I've seen, again, in recent times, in many years, maybe 10 years even. So I want a strong Kaizer Chiefs. I know what Ramovic can do. I cannot tell them or tell Chiefs what they should do. If that would extend the blessings to SA football, one of the blessings is what you spoke about. We have a new rivalry, after Chiefs and Pirates, this one, and it's exciting and the game is alive, and it causes, it provokes conversations every corner. So if that approach comes, and in my view, which it is my view, I do believe that it could be the turnaround for the biggest institution, the flagship of South Africa.
Kaizer Ramovic would turn Chiefs around.
That's my simple view. I know he will. I know he will bring them success. I know he will bring them a trophy. But I love him. He's my coach. I found him from nowhere. I don't know what kind of instinct I applied at the time to bring a guy who had never coached before and make that declaration. That is a rivalry we're present to African football. So in South Africa, we need a very successful Kaizer Chiefs that will rival Pirates and rival Sundowns, and our national team will improve. Chess Galaxy will be thereabout. Then I think we'll have one of the greatest league. Will continue to be high up there amongst the best in the continent.
Tim, I want you to come back. I want you in the studio though, in a couple of weeks when the league is wrapped up and we've done the awards, because I want to know about your feelings now on some of your players not being called up to Bafana. I know you have strong feelings about that, but I don't have the time for it because I want to speak to one of your players now. Can you commit to coming in and having a chat?
For sure, man. Anytime. I will be at your message disposal, Andile.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
We're meant to take him first, but his boss decided he wants to go first. Bradley Mojela now joins us on the line, TS Galaxy winger. Dada Mojela. Dada Mojela, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Grootman.
Oh, Shapo.
Geshapo, Grootman, no Shapo.
No, Geshapo, man. Congratulations on a very successful season.
Thank you very much. It was the hard work I put in throughout the season,
I mean, first time in the DStv Premiership, 26 games, 4 goals, 1 assist. You've scored in the net bank. You scored in the Carling knockout. Where now, Shaba season now? What do you make of it?
My season was very arrogant. It was a great season for me because it's my first time in DStv Premiership. I know nothing about the TSS, but I managed to outcome the the problems that I face.
So when now level ya PS, because how to go the case 3 go fit go DSTV Premiership, ba bangata ba re it's going to take time to gel. When o fit level wa tsama.
Ay, I fit to tsama same time nna. I want to like in football, man. When you go to a new team, it's like a batwa kale ba teng team ka re ba tsona ba wisa morao. So nega nalo kekelezanyana. When you got better go slow, coach assistant coach am po tare mona.
How Mngqithi better go slow. Bolela ka di player tse dingwe.
Like I only conflict like certain individuals like or like we after game na liba sa dalang by the compensation na ba mate ba kono ka ba dito ka bidinga game. So mo no wa kekela no na ke vale ba ka pizza island. Assistant coach la tampo tare mona. You came alone here, work for your family.
100%, good advice.
No, today, motor coach. Thank you very much. You helped me. I'm more every day, coach, assistant coach.
Because otherwise, not a fellow with it lots of snacks.
How
level every time Babita squad sabafana, somebody tells me because you ask yourself, why not you?
Very motivation where I must just keep on working hard. Maybe my time will come. Because I had an opportunity to really change nationality. I got to resort to Margahan.
Why?
I have to work hard for the Bafana collab. That's the truth. That's how I smell one.
For those that don't know, Bradley, how are you associated Lesotho to South Africa?
I'm there's a Sutu root. My name Mojela.
So who's from Lesotho? Maragona le family Lesotho can call you up for Lesotho. Maraonya go dlalla Lesotho. Have you ever had a call from Lesotho?
My speaking to apply for Lesotho national team Lesotho.
And you think you deserve Bafana and you think you'll play Bafana?
I deserve it. So you can see throughout the season, I've worked hard. I give central defenders stress. Three or two. Every game, we say the game every 2 or 3 people are on me every time.
And then game of Sundowns seems to be even more important to you guys.
Yeah, game, this game wasn't special for me. Just a normal game to express my talent. Maybe I can say now. So the Sundowns in the
yeah?
I was the Sundowns.
When you go Sundowns, too?
I was the Sundowns.
Hey, man. Have you? Because I was speaking to Tim now, Tim Sukazi, and he's telling me, there's been people that have been asking about you. What do you know about where you might go at the end of this season?
I don't know nothing yet. Because me, I'm only focusing on Chiefs because I'm still contracted to them. So I have to focus on my job here on Chiefs.
But if you had it up to you, you'd go to that Sundowns team?
Yes, I'd go there.
In your position, when you look at the players that are at Sundowns, I mean, look at the players that they've got, the Escovals, the Matthews, and the Allendes, all these players that they've got in those positions. Do you think you would play at Sundowns?
It's not about the player. It's about how the player works at practice and how he applies himself to the game. It's not about hard work. It's not about who the player is.
You know, Bradley, I remember a time when South African players wanted to go overseas. Your dream when like Sundowns?
That dream was Sundowns.
Hey, man. Okay. No, I can appreciate that. What do you think of Coach Rulani then?
He's a fantastic coach. He's a tactic great. They're very dangerous. They're very dangerous.
There's other teams in South Africa. There's big teams. Kaizer Chiefs. They could need the services of a player like you. If they called?
They call it depends on the chairman.
But I'm asking you. You said you wanted to go to Sundowns. If they called, you would go. What about if Chiefs called?
I hope they both call. I'll go to Sundowns.
Mojela, listen, man. I think you've had a fantastic season. When you look at the players that you're playing with, when you look at the way that TS Galaxy is set up, a lot of you guys, and Tim Sukazi was saying that he gives credit to your coach. How good is Kaizer Ramovic? What is it about him that makes him good?
Like you see our coach, like even when you're on your top form, you're performing, you're scoring goals, doesn't make it easy for you. Doesn't say, great, you're scoring, relax. It's always on your case. He wants you to improve because he knows what you're capable of and you can achieve the more. He wants you to always work hard and keep on your toes.
And there's a good understanding. We've spoken to players here who've said, I remember when Ola left, for instance, you were saying that, the coach takes things too personally and he was a little angry. You find him to be easy to work with?
I find him easy to work with because he helps me. Because it's not about how the coach is. Like the time for jokes and the time for being serious. Like, there's a time when we laugh with the coach, we make jokes. But when it's time to do the work, there's no time for jokes. You have to be serious and focus on your job. That's why.
Oh no, this is the worst interview for this to happen on, Timmy. We've lost Bradley there for a couple of seconds.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
1951, and I found one of my new favorite people in the DSTV Premiership. It's Bradley Mojela. And the reason Mojela is because onale madi ya Lesotho. Onale madi wa banna bo apara kobo bana melepere. Hey Mojela, ke tlo level history ya how ke tlo ikreya. I'm gonna come back to you ko botso re etla guy.
Yeah.
But tell me, I've seen positions where you're playing. I've seen you as a winger. Sometimes you're listed as a winger. I've seen you as a false nine. I've seen you as a nine. What's your preferred position?
Center forward, striker.
Which is the same position Ncube plays in?
Yeah, the same position Ncube plays.
So when you look at the competition between you and Ncube, his experience, he's been to big teams. Do you think maybe it's a disadvantage to you?
No, it's not a disadvantage because in football, you never stop learning in football. You see, we learn from each other. It's especially the experience that we learn from each other. Mainly.
But if you play other positions, don't you think you'd get a lot more game time and perhaps you'd feature a little bit more, be seen a little bit more?
I used to love the other positions, but now I'm in love with the center forward now.
And you think that's your preferred position? Where does the coach prefer you?
My coach prefers me center forward. You can see also. He prefers center forward.
Bradley, listen, man, I don't know if you're going to be at TS Galaxy next season or not. We've got a couple more weeks. I know there's interest in you. I know there's teams calling about you. Wherever it is that you end up, I hope you keep being as real as you are and you keep being the person that you are. And I'll trace your lineage, then I'll call you Gobots and Nasalf. But thank you so much for talking to me and all the best for the last game and for whatever happens next season. And congratulations on top 8.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you. Let's honor Bradley Mojela, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. TS Galaxy engulfing the show today. Both the big man, the president of TS Galaxy, as well as the front man. We call him winger, but he actually prefers to be a 9. So there you have it. Bradley Mojela says that he wants to go to Sundowns and prefers Sundowns, and that's where he'd like to be. But I think the big takeaway as well is Tim Sukazi saying the talk about Ncube. Well, if it's true, he hopes so because he thinks that his Kaizer Ramovic would be great for Kaizer Chiefs. Let's take your voice notes and your calls. Faith, coming up in just a few. She's had some big hitters as far as politicians are concerned over the last couple of days. Enjoyed the conversation with Mbuyiseni Ndlozi last night. I see many of you did as well. 086 000 2160 is where you can call us. 060 552 7303 for WhatsApp.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
Mazal Mlefe joins me now on the line. There's drama in the playoffs as far as the PSL is concerned.
Appington City. It goes back to their game earlier in the season between them and Milford FC. As we know, the lower division, especially the second tier, the rules are that a minimum of 5 under-23 players must be in the team sheet and 3 of them must be on the pitch at all times. I've seen a report from the match commissioner on the day stating the fact that Milford FC at some one point during the match, they only had one player under 23 on the pitch, and that's against the NSL rules. Upington City lodged a complaint which went to the PSL DC, but it was dismissed by Raymond Heck. But it's now gone to the SAFA Appeals Committee, and should Upington City win that appeal, they would then be ahead of Baroka. It's Upington City who then go into the playoffs. But that all depends on what the SAFA Appeals Committee come up with in terms of their resolution.
6 to 7 p.m. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303.
Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Andile. Leave the men to go to Sundowns, man. Sometimes overseas, the men want to be in Sundowns. Oh, guys, I like this show.
Andile,
okay. No, I can appreciate that.
Keep busy with the news and good club. Mvana nyako ya Sundowns asene mfana mvana game series danko
Andile Rulani from Mamelodi. I wish all the players were so
honest,
open, like the player that
honest
TS Galaxy player that you interviewing now.
100%.
You just interviewed that actually, guy. He's speaking his mind. He wants to play for Sundowns. He can't play for Lesotho. He wants to play for Bafana Bafana.
I wish for such honesty, not only with players, with coaches, with everyone. I wish there was such honesty, but there isn't. People are going to beat around the bush. Even with Tim, you heard him. He was honest about all that we spoke about. I want to take your calls. Timmy, who do you have lined up? While Timmy gets the first one, play the last voice note there.
Yeah, Andile, that boy there. Yeah, this is Mafatola or Shumba, the other Shumba. I know him from development, from Eddie Dina's development, Shumba development. Yeah, I know. I'm proud of that boy.
Kwamhlanga, Dixon is there. Dixon. Timmy, what are you doing, Timmy? Yeah, what is Timmy doing? Dixon.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you loud and clear. Go for it.
Yeah, I want to talk about the invincible record.
Go for it, buddy. It's up there. It can still happen.
As a soccer loving person, I would love to experience that in my lifetime. I want to experience it in my life.
Are you a Sundowns fan?
Pardon?
Do you support Sundowns?
I'm in South Africa. I want to experience it in my first time with a South African coach, a young coach, indeed.
100%. I'm with you. I love what's happening at Sundowns. I love Rulani. Despite all of you that call here and tell me it's because I'm a supporter. No, what they're doing is great. It doesn't matter who you are. There's players at TS Galaxy that say they want to go there. That's what it says. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Play the last voice notes there. Timmy's taking forever. Kabelo.
Okay,
hey, it was good seeing you yesterday, my brother.
It was good. I was even telling people that I'm going to see my guy yesterday. I was waiting, even though it was good. I will not tell people when. How? I'm not going to tell them. Okay, I get my pen and paper here. I was writing down the notes when you're talking to the coach, the chairman, and the player. So MPN, they said number 8 is playing number 1.
Yeah.
So if we win this coming game, we will seal our position 8. So if my knowledge is telling me, so what happened yesterday will duplicate to the next 8, because we have a new coach that played yesterday and will be number 8 versus number 1. Kaizer Chiefs and Sundowns. Is my note telling me correct?
Your math is very correct.
Okay, sir. I will see you next time.
Kabelo GP, I appreciate you. Play one while we're waiting for Faith to make it into the studio. I do see she is here with the long locks that she's got at the moment. Go for it.
Sure, Andile.
Yo.
Yeah, hey. Mojela o ipatlela zaga ya go Sundowns. O ipatlela zaga go mining. Yeah, it's again. Unya go jazaga. O bono ra G4 SA lo go Sundowns. Lenara yo topa nyana wa bona. Yeah, great show as always.
Appreciate you, my brother.